Taylor Swift is
Go
good
ahead.
for the NFL.
So I'm
Taylor Swift is good for nothing. Nothing.
I'll make myself clear. Like it is.
I'll make myself.
It's become a bit much to see her at every game that she goes to, and like 50% of the screen time is just on Taylor Swift. That's a lot, and it kind of is annoying. However, I feel like she's driving a ton of attention to the NFL.
Welcome back to another episode with the boys. Today, we are going to be going to controversial takes from Reddit.
Yeah.
Reddit, mostly Reddit. See if we agree with them, if they play any role in our life. I think most of them are going to be parenting focused.
So
don't cancel
Not
this.
anymore.
check that.
Cut it.
The parenting ones I have are exactly the same. I just read them far apart from each other. So I thought, wow, this is a great take. And then I read a lot of others, and I said, wow, this is a really great take. Turns out it's the same take. So we'll get started. The very first take. They're kind of different, I guess. No, they're the same pretty much. This is the short version of it. I'll read the short version. It's not my goal to make sure. Sorry, this is a parenting take. It's not my goal to make sure my kids are always happy. Allowing them to feel disappointed on occasion is good because they need to learn resiliency.
Well, one more time.
It's not my goal to make sure my kids are always happy. Allowing them to feel disappointed on occasion is good because they need to learn resiliency.
I agree.
Why?
Wait, so you agree? Kenyon, do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Do you agree, Quinn?
Yeah, not 100% of the time.
Yeah, I feel like the way this is worded is a bit strange.
So here's what when I listened, this is what my brain downloaded, was that your job as a parent isn't to always create the happiest, most fun environment for your child.
Okay.
Sometimes you should let them be in hard positions so they can learn how to overcome those hard positions.
Yeah, learn that resiliency.
And be contributing members of society.
Yeah,
For sure.
Okay. That's
So,
what I got.
yeah.
That's why I agree.
I'll reread it one more time. It's not my goal to make sure my kids are always happy. Allowing them to feel disappointed on occasion is good because they need to learn resiliency. So the second sentence, allowing them to feel disappointed on occasion is good because they need to learn resiliency. I agree with that 100%. Letting them learn how to go through challenges.
The first sentence.
But the first sentence, it's not my goal to make sure my kids are always happy.
I guess that can be someone's goal.
That's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah,
like,
it is weirded correctly.
yeah.
I mean, it's just
If you
it's not
remove-
my job.
Remove the word always and say it's not my goal to make sure my kids are happy. Obviously, that I disagree with that,
Right,
and I feel like
right,
most people would disagree with that. I think the main goal of parenting is to strive to help your kids be happy, and I think that's the point of life. Men are that they might have joy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as we go through life, whether we're helping our friends, our siblings, our families, or our children to be happy, that is a very good goal. But trying, like Kingston said, to create an environment where they're only feeling happiness, or you're trying to dispel any type of pain or sorrow, could be very detrimental. I feel like when you're just trying to solve your children's problems and not allowing them to kind of learn that resiliency. Any other comments on that?
Well, I'm not a parent.
Yeah, two parents here.
Do you have a take first
What's your-
before I go
what's
New
your
to?
child?
parents.
No, I'm good with what I said.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not a parent, but I am a child. I do feel like mom and dad took that first part of the statement that to heart. Their goal was to make us, or try to create a happy environment for us. And like you said, we're kind of weird, so I think that was a good goal of theirs, and I think they did that phenomenally. But I also think that they did a great job at putting us in certain situations or letting us create our own situations where we
Yeah.
had to become resilient. Whether it be, I don't know, there's so many different topics that we can get into where we as brothers, as our parents' children, have learned to become resilient because our parents kind of took a step away and let us handle it. So.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what we were talking about just in the last episode, where we were talking about lost the train of thought. No. Oh, we were talking about how the only thing that we can control is our response. And obviously, if you never have the chance to exercise that response, then you're always just getting dealt the cards with what you're given. So, I mean, yeah, obviously you need to have them experience being able to feel their emotions and learn or react to the things that they've been given.
Yeah, we'll continue on with this take, which doesn't really seem that controversial. But I'll read the second take that I thought was different, but ended up being the exact same take, just to add some depth to it. But Fearless Leader 85 says, kids need to lose. They need to fail. They need to get hurt, and they need to learn how to handle it on their own. An inflated self-esteem is just as dangerous, if not more so, than a low self-esteem. When a kid gets the idea into his or her head that they're amazing at everything, they tend to do two things: quit working so hard at getting better, and respond with anger and excuses to failure rather than critical thought and reasonable response. Getting hurt is an important thing to learn about, learning the difference between what's going on to give you a serious injury. What's going on just to make you a little uncomfortable for a while makes you less likely to get serious injuries. Kids that get hurt a lot when they're... it's long, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Kids that get hurt a lot when they're young grow up to be practically invincible because they learn how to do what they want to do without getting injured. Also, being too hygienic is dangerous. Your kids need to get filthy. They need to get sick. They need to do it often. The more of that type of damage they go through while young, the better off they will be when they're older. So the TLDR is kids are far more resilient than people seem to want to admit. If you don't make them build on that, they'll get weaker. So playing into that notion of, kind of letting your kids experience failure, and trying not to resolve their problems and just making everything happy can lead to a positive growth experience for your children.
Since it is somewhat of the same take, I think I can kind of steer it in a different direction by saying, once again, I'm not a father or a parent, but I have had the opportunity to really reflect the last couple of years and watch other people parent. Not speaking about anyone specifically, but I think just generationally, there is a really soft mentality right now. Just from listening to you read that last take, I have like so many people pop into my head, whether it's friends, kids, cousins, that Rachel and I were talking about this just yesterday, that parents don't say no anymore. Just from seeing a lot of other younger kids now, I don't see too many parents kind of cracking down. While I'm sitting at church, I just watch parents like this staring at the speaker while their kids are running, throwing stuff at other kids, and like no one, there's not I don't even know the word for it. But it's hard for kids to build that resiliency when they're just told they're doing everything right. They're never told no. They're always told yes. So I think generationally it's become a big problem.
So we seem to agree pretty much that kids should be given the opportunity to experience failure, to work out pain without having our parents kind of control the environment and try to just make it all happy, flowers, daisies, roses, whatever. Why do you feel like mom and dad, can you guys think of any specific examples of mom and dad allowing us to fail or just not immediately fixing a situation to where we were just happy?
I think this one, I think the dating scene. I don't know how your guys' experience was, but mom and dad kind of just stepped away not stepped away. They were never like in my face all the time about who I was dating. But because that I was, because that
I was gonna say I think that's a big breakup between him and me.
yeah, because of that, I made some pretty big and dumb mistakes, and I was able to learn from that myself. Mom and dad were always there to give me advice. I was just either too dumb or too blind to realize it, but that was a big one for me.
I mean, for me, there wasn't much they could do when I started getting a lot of speeding tickets and in trouble with the law. Like, they kind of had to step back. Like, there's nothing they could, or totaling the car. Like, they're just like, all right, you got to get a job now, and you got to figure it out. And so I just started working from there, and then, but yeah, it's kind of hard just because we grew up, I don't know. And I mean, obviously, as much as dad loves us, our happiness wasn't always his first concern when we were children. Discipline was probably the most of his concerns. And that's something we talk about with Mariah's dad too, and our dad was the exact same way, so it must be a generational thing where we couldn't do anything that was annoying. Like, if we were annoying anyone at any time, we were wrong. Whatever you're doing is wrong. Whereas now people don't think that. Like, they don't think like, oh, my kid's probably bugging the 50 other people.
Yeah,
at
no one
restaurant.
thinks that
they
anymore.
Don't care anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, for our parent, we were raised that way. So that's definitely not something where our happiness, because we were having so much fun annoying everyone at the store. But it's like, nope, your happiness, that happiness for you is not good happiness. So we're going to put a stop to that. So, I mean, like, I think just the way we were raised and like the cultural things that were embedded in our family and our lives did kind of not put our happiness first, but I
feel like in a way they saw it as like more as an investment because they were invested on us succeeding. So they thought, oh, this is what will help them best in the future. Okay. Rather, they obviously are happy that we are happy. They find joy in us being happy. Mm-hmm. But they also see how much that can affect us in the future and affect them in that immediate circumstance. Yeah. So I feel like, especially with that generation, it had a lot to do on looking forward or even how we will be when we're growing up.
Yeah.
So just to go off of that, like provide some similar pushback of maybe it wasn't that they weren't concerned about our happiness, but they were concerned about that investment of what will lead to a more clearer path of not only being happy, but providing happiness to other people and not being an annoyance or not being, because it did growing up. It felt like it was more important that we were disciplined and not being a disturbance than being able to freely choose and do whatever we wanted. There were lines that needed to be followed and not crossed. And I think looking back, obviously as a more mature individual, as we've learned more and gone through more life experiences, we can look back and say, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like that, I don't want to be seen as that type of person. I'm grateful that I was raised this way so I can be this way.
And I also think there's a difference because, like I said, when we were happy at the time when we were annoying everybody, and I think in relation to you saying men are that they might have joy, I think that's part of like childhood and the transition into adulthood is that happiness isn't always joy, because obviously people are happy when they're doing drugs or when they're doing things you're not supposed to. But it's like as a kid, if you learn that sometimes the things that make you the happiest, like eating candy for 5 hours straight, is not what's going to be good for your joy long term. Or like, so when you're talking about men are that they might have joy, it's the everlasting joy. It's the joy like you said, in the future at the end of the road, not just the immediate happiness.
It's
right
not.
now.
It's not satisfaction.
Yeah, it's not satisfaction. Exactly.
Satisfaction.
That's a good way to put it. Satisfaction.
But at the same time, when you're a kid, you are learning so much more than you actually think you are, because you're finding joy in annoying those little annoyances. But like, that's what it is that brings us joy, is testing those limits while we're young, seeing how close, and then sometimes you probably cross those lines and it's not as fun. But yeah.
All right.
Next take.
I should have went with like the less serious ones first.
That's good. We'll end it less
with
serious.
that conversation. But there's one more that could be a little bit more serious, and I'll do two right now that are not as serious. First one, I just thought of it on my own because I'm trying to come up with a take that we would disagree on, because all the other takes I feel like
We might agree on.
we're gonna agree on.
Yeah.
This one, I think you guys might disagree with me, but Taylor Swift is
Go
good
ahead.
for the NFL.
So I'm
Taylor Swift is good for nothing. Nothing.
I'll make myself clear. Like it is.
I'll make myself.
It's become a bit much to see her at every game that she goes to, and like 50% of the screen time is just on Taylor Swift. That's a lot, and it kind of is annoying. However, I feel like she's driving a ton of attention to the NFL.
But is it positive attention?
I mean, what is the saying?
What's the Reno Mahe saying?
All press is good press or something.
No publicity is bad publicity.
When we were younger, Reno would always tell
Yeah.
us, which I think is hilarious.
Like if they're talking about me, at least they're saying my name.
yeah,
or
if they're
something.
talking bad about me, at least they're talking about
Yeah,
me.
something like that.
Yeah, staying in people's
Okay.
conversation. No, I was just gonna say, like, I don't even have an opinion on that, because yes, it's annoying to see her, but your take is that she's good for the NFL.
Yeah.
Of course she's good for the NFL.
Okay, so you guys disagree with me.
Yeah, I just agree with you. Like, that's
It is.
if you were to say, like, I enjoy seeing Taylor Swift at every NFL game.
See, but that's like
that would
what's
change
good-
a lot.
What's good for the NFL though? Is it just purely having more eyes?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
But in what way though? Because what if if the eyes can't be counted on for anything unless Taylor Swift is going to be there? Then what's the point? You want Taylor Swift to be at everything?
Well,
Well, who's gonna do the Super Bowl? Who's gonna do the halftime show at the Super Bowl?
Taylor Swift every year?
No, but they'll just keep
That's
doing
what I'm
that with
saying.
artists, and I don't know.
But I don't think you could get this reaction with any artist other than Taylor Swift.
unless Justin Bieber was dating a defensive end or something.
Well, hold on.
Possible.
Justin
Justin who?
Bieber.
That would attract a ton of.
Well, when you think about NFL, it's football, it's entertainment. All
Because-
eyes are good eyes. You're
Well,
watching.
But
you're
you want
watching.
an audience. Like if you're a creator in any way, you don't want the views that count to you are the reoccurring views that not only watch your program every time it's on, but purchase and contribute to the people who are advertising.
Think about it this way, dude. Do the people who pay the NFL to have their commercials in their games, dude, does that now broaden
Okay, that's a
how
good
many
point.
people? Because
That is a good point.
today we were watching the Jets and Raiders game. I was at my in-laws' house, and Rachel's sister-in-law was sitting there on the couch, and there was a female product had come up in between to a break of the game, and she's like, "Why is this an ad on the like in a football commercial, in a sports
Mhm.
commercial?" And
There's
maybe,
Swifties watching.
yeah, maybe that's Taylor Swift has brought a bunch of females watching, and now that company that's selling that female product is like, we can pay to have our ad in there because look how many people are going to see it now.
Yeah.
of
Do you know
our
how many
target
people
audience.
do you know have non-plaque psoriasis?
I don't know what that means.
Exactly, but how many NFL
There's
commercials
so
do
many.
you see? Like literally Sky Rizzy. I don't even know what the disease is,
Sky
but I know what
Rizzy,
Sky
yeah,
Rizzy
everyone
is.
does.
Because it's like, but I'm like, how are this company like? What is the purpose of this company paying millions of dollars to
Because that.
advertise with the NFL?
Yeah.
Look, Swifties all have non-plaque psoriasis.
No, I'm just saying, like, in marketing our classes, we learn that, like, as long as it's being talked about. Like
It's being talked about.
Yeah, it's being talked about. You're gaining somewhere, and that'll all lead to a monetary value somewhere.
NFL commercials are drug, cars, insurance, and fast food.
Yep.
That's all of it.
Okay, well, from my perspective,
I don't purchase any of them.
Like, honestly, I don't watch very much NFL other than when you guys really put it on when you guys are here.
When we force you to watch it?
No, I enjoy watching football, but I could not care less about Taylor Swift. I don't really care about her. And so, like, when it just, like, when it started, I was like, oh, okay, Taylor Swift, yeah. Everyone was making a big deal about it. But then, like, it just constantly goes, and I'm like, that's the last thing I want to hear about. It's so annoying.
Yeah, it is annoying. Interesting take, though.
Okay, here's another take from Green River Thriller. Sounds like a serial killer. This is another light one. I think tips should be earned for good service and not mandatory to make up for wages.
Sorry, can you say that again?
I think tips should be earned for good service and not mandatory to make up for wages.
To start it off, Rachel just got home from California with an experience. She went to Starbucks, and she was getting ready to tap her card on the little screen right in front of the register. And she said, you can just choose one of the options. There was a 15, 18, 20, and 22 option. Nothing else for tips. And Rachel was like, I don't want to tip you. She was, well, you just have to click one.
So do you agree or disagree? Tips should be earned, not part of a mandatory.
Agree.
Okay.
Okay, next take.
No, we can talk about it though, because it's stupid. Because also, when they ask for a tip, but people get paid a wage,
Mm-hmm.
like a well above minimum wage. Like I
Yeah.
know at certain restaurants you're getting paid a ton, and there's still an option to tip, and then people look at you like you're crazy when you don't tip. I'm like, the whole point of tipping is to ensure that your service is going to be
Yeah.
good, right?
Yeah. We went to Florida a few weeks ago, and the first breakfast we had, it's all the entire Ash family, and we were trying to split the check, and we just ultimately decided we're just gonna put it all on Chase's card, and then we'll Venmo it.
Did you guys decide that together, or just...
No, I
Chase
actually
is like, wait, I get hella good. Hey, you guys could just put it all on.
yeah,
my
I
card
actually
and we'll be
volunteered.
okay.
I volunteered to put it on. This lady, it's like a small diner. The food was below
It
average.
was mid,
Very mid.
barely mid.
Can you say very mid, or is it just mid?
Mid.
Anyways,
Nah, it's just mid.
the lady, we're checking out. Everyone's outside except for me, and I'm writing on the receipt. She's checking me out the counter, and it's like the bill was like, if I remember, it was like $160. I write the tip, and I put like, I just wanted to round up to the next nearest dollar. So I gave her like $8 to $10, and she looks at me and she goes, "That's it."
No.
Yeah, and I was like,
wait, how many people were in your group?
there were 13.
That's
I was gonna say, yeah,
that's pretty bad.
especially like I feel
That's-
like because once they
that's
get to
5%.
like over 10, 12 people,
Yeah.
don't they usually just have like gratuity?
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
have yeah.
But this, you said this is a small like cafe,
Guys, it felt like McDonald's breakfast.
But
They just so
still.
happened to have a waiter.
and
Yeah.
she for
But
real,
if you give the Lord
She-
10%,
wait,
you
she
I
said-
wanted so badly to just like, oh, I'm so sorry.
She said
Scratch
that-
it down, just write zero next to it.
she said that to your face though.
I was right there, and she was just watching me. She's like, "Sweetheart, that was 13 people. That's it." And I was like,
Here's a question: Did
See,
she?
that's
Oh
a
my
good
gosh.
point though. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's taking a huge chunk of their workforce to serve and clean up after 13 people.
I think it depends on where you're at.
Yeah, it does depend. But like if it's just me and Mariah and all you're doing is taking 2 plates off the table and putting in the dishwasher,
Yeah.
that's okay.
No, if
Yeah.
But
I'm
you're
at,
cleaning up after a family that has several groups of kids, then
Yeah.
I would understand like, okay, maybe a little bit more.
"Is
Yeah.
it part of your job
But you
to
should not be asking
take an
for it.
order as a waiter, waitress?"
Yeah, but some of those some waiters and waitresses still get paid old fashioned wage where they're only making like
$7
minimum,
an
like
hour.
$5-6 an hour.
That's not my problem.
Well, it is when tip is factored in.
Here's my question in that situation.
Because they get paid tips.
Was she filling up your waters? Was she busting the table? Was she?
It wasn't good service.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't
then,
good
then
service.
don't give them a tip.
Yeah, then yeah.
But it's
And
like
I think you had
expected.
every right to
It's
give her
expected.
$8.
Well,
to-
at a place like that, so like I've done work with people who have restaurant payrolls.
Yeah.
Bro, some of these people, when you look at what they get paid for working 40 hours a week, they're only getting paid like $50-$60, and then their tips are $500 to $700.
Yeah.
So the majority of their, so I think that's stupid. Like if we're not, it should all be one system.
Yeah.
Either we're not tipping and everyone gets paid a fair wage, or no one's getting paid a fair wage, so everyone
you have
has
to
to tip.
tip.
Because
Yeah.
the cashier at Starbucks, why
Yeah,
would
the
I
cashier
tip
at
you?
Starbucks is getting paid.
You're making $20
definitely
an
a good
hour.
wage, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I just think it should be on the restaurant, the catering company, whatever, to pay their employees good enough so that they can be motivated to work and be a good
Yeah.
server,
Yeah.
regardless of tip.
Like in other countries, was this you telling about this?
I know that in Taiwan, like
Yeah.
when the new missionaries are trying to like hand out a tip, it kind of seemed like they were like offended.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
makes
in
sense.
Ukraine, they would get so mad.
same thing in anywhere
The
in
waitresses and waiters were so offended if you left money.
Europe.
yeah.
Yeah, they were so offended because they're like, are you like, you think I'm poor? Like that I need
Mariah
this?
was talking
that's
to someone in Germany when they went over there to perform, and they said, no, if you're a waiter at a restaurant in Germany, you went to school to be a waiter at a restaurant in
Yeah.
Germany.
That's
what they do.
That's
So it's your
why
profession.
we were just talking about crossed over the border. Even in Mexico,
Yeah.
like it wasn't a really nice place, but the waiters there and everything, they're like, everyone was talking about how they're paid like just as much as the chefs and everything because they're like super.
Their job is
classy
just
and-
as important as
Yeah.
the
And they're
chefs.
good at it. They work hard. They do.
Oh yeah,
In Ukraine,
And I think that's
yeah, everywhere.
overall, just to wrap it up on this topic, that is one of the major problems with American culture in general, is the pride is shifted completely from whether it is the country or your city or your town or the job you work. The pride has shifted from the group to the individual. That
Yeah.
waiter doesn't care about, I provided the best possible service so that my restaurant looks good so that more people come. The waiter is worried about my paycheck, my
I need
bank
my
account.
money.
Well,
Whereas
I
if they
deserve-
would be worried about the best possible service, getting more people into the restaurant, then your paycheck would come. But no one understands
Naturally.
that. Everyone
No.
only understands the very microscopic view of
Me.
what works best for me and how do I move myself forward.
Times are changing.
Yeah.
Times are changing.
useless. We'll talk more about that later
Times are
because
changing.
culture is the worst.
Yeah.
But thanks for listening.
Let us know what you think about those takes. Leave
Smash
comments.
the subscribe.
And your
What do
take if you have one.
What do
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
want to hear?
Oh yeah.
Give us some takes.
If you have a controversial take, hot take,
Hey, look at them when you're talking to
leave it in
Yeah.
the comments.
look at the family.
We'll try and read them, and we'll react to them. Love you guys.
All of them? You love
I don't
everyone?
even know. Nobody's watching these, so.
Oh, they're
Peace.
watching.